Hi guys, it's Weston here. So today I'm going to be reviewing the Skullcandy Grind headphones. So as always, let's kick off with the design. So the design of these is much more understated than Skullcandies I've reviewed in the past. They still have the really nice colours and they're still really sort of youthfully designed, but these ones just seem to be a little bit toned back and they're just not as vivid as Skullcandies, like I said, I've reviewed in the past. So you can see the design is much more understated and much more, I wouldn't say stylish, but they're much less in your face as Skullcandies in the past. So you can see we've got the Skullcandy logo on the headband and a very simple design on the ear cup. So moving around onto the sides of the ear cup, and we've just got a small accent. So this, like I said, isn't really vivid or bright, but it just does something to separate the blue from the actual black of the ear cups. So on the left ear cup you've got the 3.5mm jack and an included microphone inbuilt into the headphone, something I've never actually encountered on a pair of wire headphones before. Also on the left ear cup you'll notice the multifunctional button. Again, I've never seen these on a pair of wired headphones, but this will allow you to play pause, skip track and answer calls as well, which I think is pretty cool. Then you move around onto the headband and it is pretty plain, there's no branding on it and you can just see some exposed stitching, which is nice. On the inside you'll see the left indicator. So this is finished off in a navy blue against the sort of lighter blue. And then on the opposing side you've got the right indicator. So then we get down onto the 3.5mm jack and it's a straight shot cable. So this is finished off in beige to match the trim around the ear cups. And again it's got the Skullcandy logo on it. The cable is a pretty standard affair, so it's nothing too spectacular, it's just a standard soft touch finish. Feels pretty nice, but again, pretty standard. Then finally we get down onto the 3.5mm at the end. So this has got the Skullcandy logo on it and it's an L-shaped connector with a gold plated connector on the end. So now we move on to build quality, and Skullcandies of the past haven't really been built that well. These do feature a little bit of metal and they do feel much better than other Skullcandies like I've said in the past. So they are still a little bit flimsy and they do sort of have a bit of stretch to them, but they do feel much better than, like I said, Skullcandies of the past. The button feels pretty nice as well, it's got a nice bit of feel to it, it doesn't feel too mushy. So all is good there. So build quality is much improved over, like I said, Skullcandies of the past. So now we get on to comfort. So you can see the padding is a circular design and it's got some breathable holes in it as well. So that allows obviously the sound to get through. But the cushion's design is actually very nice. There's a generous amount of padding and the ear cups are very soft as well. The circular design isn't my favourite in particular, but I found that the headphones are very comfortable, even with glasses on as well. I found them very comfortable, even for prolonged periods of time as well, which I've never experienced with Skullcandies before. Then we've got the headband up top, and again there's a generous amount of padding, even though the headphones aren't that heavy. So then we've got a sliding mechanism, and this gives you an extra degree of movement on the headphones, so you can actually adjust them for smaller size heads or adjust them for larger size heads as well, which is pretty cool. And there is quite a range of adjustment as well, which I think is pretty impressive. So then we've got a small amount of axis of movement as well, so you've got up, down, left and right, side to side. So it's not the most movement I've ever seen, but it means you can move them around on your head just to get a better fit and obviously to increase your comfort. So next up is isolation and leak, and they actually performed pretty reasonably. They're not the best I've ever heard, and obviously they're not the worst I've ever experienced. Much better than Skullcandies of the past though. The ear cups seem to form to your ears much nicer and obviously block out more sound, and obviously that reduces leak as well. So like I said, it's not the best I've ever encountered, but it's not to a degree that's going to be sort of annoying, or if you're on a bus or something, it's not going to bother other passengers unless you have them on like full volume, which I really would doubt you'd do. So now we've got to the main event, the sound, and I have to say I'm impressed with these for Skullcandies. So I'll just talk a little bit more in detail now. So the bass is much more toned down from other Skullcandy headphones I've noticed. It's much less muddy, but it still has that sort of kick and punch to it which Skullcandies are known for. So like I said, this bass is much nicer and much cleaner than bass of Skullcandies of old. So the mids are easier to listen to, they're more present, they're more forward, they're a little bit cleaner and a little bit more detailed as well. I mean, they still need improvement in this area, but they are less muffled and less sort of cloudy sounding than Skullcandies of the past. The vocals are much improved. They're more forward, they're more sort of natural sounding, and they're nicer as well. And there's a much better separation in the mid-range and obviously the vocal range and the high range as well than there was, like I said, of Skullcandy's of old. So the highs are still vague, but they are less brittle sounding than Skullcandy's of old. So big improvements there as well. So overall, I mean, the Skullcandies are massively improved over Skullcandies of the past that I've tested. Now I've noticed that these are more suited to electronic genres of music, like house and dubstep. I did try them with other genres as well, and they just didn't sound right. They're better than, like I said, old Skullcandies, but they're more suited towards your electronic style of music. But these are probably some of the best sounding Skullcandies I've ever heard. Right guys, so that just about wraps it up. So we're just going to quickly summarise what I think of these headphones. So like I said, they are massively improved over Skullcandies of old that I've tested. So I'm thinking the approx in particular. So the build quality is massively improved. Like I said, you do get more premium materials than older ones. The sound is much nicer as well. Still needs a little bit of work in my opinion to compete with other rivals, but much better. The design is much more toned down as well, so it's not as in your face. So they probably suit a more wider audience than older Skullcandies. And overall they've just been more enjoyable to listen to in my opinion, and just more obviously enjoyable to use as well as a pair of headphones. So are they worth buying? Well, if you like electronic music, then they're definitely worth a consideration. If you listen to loads of other genres of music, then there's probably better out there. But in my opinion, these are probably the best sounding and possibly the best Skullcandy headphones I've ever used. Well, they're the best I've ever used. Whether they're the best they've ever made, I don't know because I've not tested them all yet, but definitely the best Skullcandies I've ever used. Right, so that is it guys. So thank you all for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit that thumbs up, subscribe and all that good stuff. If you've got any questions, drop me a comment down below. So that is it. Thank you for watching and I'll see you all on the next one.